Welcome to the Eric T Conversation. I'm Eric T. Well, the NFL is doing it again. They're fumbling left and right. The NFL is caving to the woke mob yet again. And why are they doing it? Why are the NFL utilizing male cheerleaders to put on the sidelines? Now remember, these aren't the college football cheerleading type. These are the more flamboyant type of NFL cheerleaders that they've got on the sidelines. Today, I'm going to break down exactly why I think they're doing it and why they don't care how you feel at all. Even though you might have been a fan of the Green Bay Packers the last 65 years, your voice falls on deaf ears. Stick around. You just might learn something.
The Minnesota Vikings getting ready to tackle their rivals as the NFL season approaches. But the team, now playing defense after announcing two new members of its cheerleading squad, are men. Blaze and Louie earning spots after a rigorous audition process.
I went to a lot of Vikings games with my family, mainly my dad. Was definitely watching cheerleaders thinking like, I wish I could do that, being that role model for other little kids who don't know that this is an option.
But the inclusion of the two men on the 35-person cheer roster has some calling to boycott the team, with replies to the Vikings Instagram post reading, "I'm not a Viking fan no more," and "I just lost all my respect for the Vikings." Across social media, far-right accounts latching on to the backlash, and even a former player blatantly hateful. Antonio Brown, currently wanted by police for attempted murder, which he denies, calling Blaze a homophobic slur. Plenty of others defending the cheerleaders, writing, "They were incredible and deserve their spot as a part of the squad." The Vikings telling NBC News, so far, no fans have canceled their season tickets, and writing, quote, "Male cheerleaders have been part of previous Vikings teams and have long been associated with collegiate and professional cheerleading. We support all of our cheerleaders and are proud of the role they play as ambassadors of the organization." Efforts to reach the two male cheerleaders for comment were unsuccessful. Of course, cheerleading men is nothing new. There have been countless parodies like this classic Will Ferrell SNL skit.
Fix it up, break it down now.
Or the iconic teen drama Bring It On.
These are not spirit fingers. These are spirit fingers.
But even former presidents George W. Bush, Ronald Reagan, and Dwight Eisenhower were cheerleaders, and many consider men a vital part of the squad. The Vikings point out a third of NFL teams have male cheerleaders. The league embracing other identities, too. The Carolina Panthers, since 2022, have featured the first and only openly transgender cheerleader in the NFL.
The NFL's long-time passion with female cheerleaders has gone back since the 50s. The Dallas Cowboys are the most iconic cheerleader squad in the entire world. Everybody knows the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. I remember being a kid in the 80s watching an episode of The Love Boat. And guess what? They had the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders on that show. That's how iconic those ladies are. It's America's team, right? And their cheerleaders are every man's heartthrob. Guys in high school, elementary school, even in college used to put their posters up on the wall, dreaming of one day they could meet one of those Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. But now the NFL is switching gears and they're putting dudes out on the sidelines. In fact, this has been going on since about 2018. The Rams and the Saints introduced male cheerleaders back then, but they were more of the dancing type. They weren't actually holding the pom-poms. And in 2019, the Carolina Panthers added a cheerleader like similar fashion. And this year, about 6 to 8, possibly 12 NFL teams have some form of male cheerleader, whether it's a dance squad member, a flag bearer, or a spirit leader. But these cheerleaders are not really the cheerleaders you remember from college, right? They are like the performance-based, the flamboyant type of cheerleader, which is strange to me. They can clearly put dudes on the sidelines and nobody would think twice. Every college football team has male cheerleaders. Hell, I was in the Army at Officer Basic Course with a guy who was a cheerleader from the University of Georgia. He was a captain of the football team. He was a state champion wrestler. And guess what he was in college? Yep, he was a cheerleader. And he was a big old masculine guy. So why did the NFL switch? Instead of having male cheerleaders like college has, to hold the girls up, to stump them, to flip them around, to help yell, NFL didn't want that, did they? They went a completely opposite direction because they're caving to the woke mob. The woke mob, the small percent of the population that really wants this. But why are they doing it? The NFL leadership has been under fire for a lot of reasons. The concussions, the Colin Kaepernick getting on his knees, the whole stop racism stuff. Yeah, they still have the stop racism stuff on the sidelines in the end zones. They're going to put on the back of the helmet still. Even though we know all that stuff from BLM was all baloney. It was a money laundering scheme. We all know that now. Those leadership from the BLM bought houses, multiple houses across the country. They were getting money laundered to them by George Soros and groups. We all know this now. You don't see all that BLM movement now because we know it was a farce. It was just propaganda to get everybody fighting with each other. But the NFL caved to it yet again. The whole kneeling with Colin Kaepernick, that went away. I thought it was terrible. I stopped watching NFL football for 2 years, and I'm a hardcore Miami Dolphins fan. I got that flag towel sitting right there up on my rack. I got a Dan Marino cover of the Wheaties box I got. I've got soda bottles up there that say Miami Dolphins undefeated 17-0 season. I got trinkets up there. My closet is full of Miami Dolphin memorabilia. But for 2 years, when they were taking a knee, Eric didn't watch any games. You can ask my wife. I didn't watch any games. And believe it or not, my life was okay. I made it through. Not watching 2 full seasons of NFL football because I didn't like what they were doing. As a patriot and a military member and a son of a retired Air Force pilot, I thought that was disrespectful. I thought it was a slap in the face to every American that died in the service of their country. There were other things you could have done, but the national anthem to me is a sacred song, and I didn't think they should have done it. The NFL plays 2 songs now at the Super Bowl, the Black national anthem and our national anthem. But there's only one national anthem, guys. There's only one. But they are doing this for what reason? It's money. All it is about money. They don't care about you. They don't care about your beliefs. They care about none of that. The NFL is making these changes even though no one's asked for it. Women that get Botox in their face, that get filler in their lips. Not one time has a guy come up to them and said, you know what you need? I would love it if you had big old fat juicy lips because I just like that so much. I think that's so attractive. And these women are beautiful to begin with, but they do it anyway. Even though no one's told them to do it, no one's asked them to do it, they still do it. That's the NFL. The NFL is a chick with Botox and filler because they know they don't need it. They know they don't need male cheerleaders on the sidelines, but they're going to do it anyway because they're catering to the small minority of this country. But the numbers are showing that it works for them. Now they have football games in Europe, which is a huge moneymaker. They're getting worldwide attendance, worldwide recognition. They're getting fans in England, in Germany, in Spain, in Russia that love our American football teams. Why are they doing it? It's the bottom line, folks. It's what the money that they put into their pockets. They could have very easily put regular male cheerleaders like they have in college on the sidelines, but they chose not to do that, did they? They went this route. They went the route of dancers, guys that really aren't masculine, don't represent what football represents. Football represents masculinity. I know there's been some gay football players that came out, but you know what? There were still masculine type of guys. But the NFL doesn't care. If the NFL wanted to add men to the cheerleading squads, why didn't they just copy the college football model? Male-based lifting, throwing, stunting, the female cheerleaders. It emphasizes athleticism and strength. Fits better with the football culture, doesn't it? We would have felt like an expansion of traditional values from college football into the NFL. It would have worked. It would have been fine with us, except the NFL decided to go a completely opposite direction. They went performance style dancing cheerleaders, which fans see more as a political move than a practical one. The NFL continues on with their political stances. Like I said, end racism in the end zones, the helmet decals, the DEI pushes. Now we have male cheerleaders. When is it going to stop? It's never going to stop because we don't boycott it. We will never do a Bud Light to the NFL because you can't. You dudes can't do it. You can't stop not watching football. You can't do it. It's impossible. You're addicted to it. It's what you live for all week long. When you get to watch that football game on Sunday or Monday night, Tuesday nights, Thursday night, hell, they even got Saturday night games after college football's over. There's football 7 days a week somewhere in this country during the football season. But you guys need your fix. So you're not going to turn it off. You're not going to walk away. The ratings in 2016 and 2017, when all the kneeling started with Colin Kaepernick, and this is why I'm going to tell you why they are going to continue pushing their narrative, the woke mob. Because in 2016 and 2017 seasons, when the ratings dipped a little bit with all that kneeling stuff going on, in 2016, they lost about 8%. In 2017, it was 9.7. And in 2017, the 50% dip in the ratings was due to the whole kneeling thing. The attendance in 2016, the protests contributed to the meaningful decline of the stadium attendances, but the effect varied from market to market. So some areas didn't really give a shit if they were kneeling or not. Some cared, some didn't. And the NFL whole thing, but despite the concerns of the leaked memo that the NFL leadership concluded that the protest-related issues had no material impact on the ratings or the NFL. They still bought merch, guys. You were still buying the merchandise. So the protests correlated with short-term dips in viewership and attendance, and they didn't derail the NFL one bit. The league likes to argue that this doesn't reflect political bias or anything like that, but it reflects the values of its fans, players, and its communities, and are seen as beneficial, not detrimental to the business. The NFL has started to surround themselves with women and LGBTQ community, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But this is how hard they're pushing for it. In 2022, women accounted for 41.3% of the roles in NFL league offices, a record high and a notable increase from 29.6% in 2014. As of 2023, women and black people made up 51% of the workforce across NFL clubs, making it the first time the league achieved a majority minority status in club staffing. The overall past seasons, the number of women in football operations has grown 141% from 199 in 2023 to 223 in 2024. The data shows they're putting more women in behind the scenes. They're putting more women in the front office. They're putting more women on the sidelines. They're putting LGBTQ community people in the front office, on the sidelines, in the locker rooms. And not only are women in NFL operations, they're watching football now. They're watching a lot of it. In 2020 and 2023, TV viewership, the percentage of women that watched and tuned into the NFL football, increased from 51% in 2020 to 57% in 2023. Chicks are digging football. And the current split right now of audiences that watch the NFL, in 2024, it shows that women make up 42% of the NFL viewership. Super Bowl engagement. In 2017, women made up only 45% of football fans. By the 2024 Super Bowl, women accounted for 47.5% of the audience, one of the highest levels everywhere. They're reaching chicks. Girls are tuning into football now. Young women, Gen Z and millennials, favorability towards the NFL among this group rose from 53% to 64% between July and December of 2023, largely attributed to, get this, the Taylor Swift effect. The Chiefs' female fans ratio reportedly rose 57%, the highest among the NFL, and the NFL fans that identify as LGBTQ community. In 2021, 57% of the LGBT community adults identified as NFL fans, compared to 68% of heterosexual adults. Post-Carl Nassib effect, the guy that came out, about 32% of the LGBT community responded saying they were more likely to watch NFL games after the league's first openly gay active player announcements. With that, 16% said they were more likely. So people that are gay or in that community are watching football. They're loving football because people that are like them are playing the game. A 2022 study found that 61% of NFL fans, that's like all of the NFL fans, believe the league needed to do more for the LGBTQ community. And 55% thought their teams should do more. The Chicago Bear fans, this is obviously interesting, ranked 5th in support, with 54% believing their fan base will react positively to an openly gay or bisexual player. The Bengals, Jaguars, Buccaneers fan community showed among the highest proportions of pro-LGBTQ sentiment. So this is why they're doing it, guys. This is why they're doing it. They're making sure that women and the LGBTQ community, their overall share, make up about 42 to 47% of NFL viewership over the last couple of years. In 2020, 51% of American women said they watch football games. In 2023, 57% of women were tuning in on a regular basis. The Super Bowl stats of 2024, women accounted for 47.5% of the viewer audience. Almost half of the people watching the NFL Super Bowl were women. That's why they're doing it. Their bottom line says it works. The bottom line says the NFL is making more money doing these weird things that the fans that have been watching for 65, 70 years, diehard NFL fans that have kept the league going all these years through the protest, through the kneeling years ago when they had a NFL strike. Football fans like you and me were there to cheer on our teams and bring them back and pay that money for the jerseys, pay that money for the baseball cap, pay-per-view games now. The NFL is making tens of billions of dollars in revenue because they can. And until us guys that have supported this league for decades do something about it and stand up and say, we're not going to tolerate it anymore. We're not going to want that thrown into our faces. They're going to do it because the NFL is a business, guys, and they don't give a damn how you feel at your house. They don't care because they know you're going to watch it. You did during the kneeling. You did through all that. You still watch, even though they play another song representing the national anthem, which there's only one national anthem, people. We don't have two. We only have one. You still watch it. You bitch and moan, but you still tune in. You still watch the NFL football games because you can't help yourself. You're an addict to it. You grew up watching it. Your dad watched it, so now you watch it. You go to the games. You buy the merch, and they know you're going to continue to do it. You can't turn a blind eye to it anymore. You're going to support that girl when she puts Botox in her face. You pay that money for it. Even though you don't think she needs it, you still give the money for it. Just like you're going to give money to watch the NFL football games. You're going to pay that pay-per-view on YouTube. You're going to pay that pay-per-view on Paramount when it comes out. You got to pay for that game because you can't help yourself. You're addicted to it. You're going to watch no matter what they do to the sidelines, no matter who they put in front of you, whether it's a flamboyant cheerleader with makeup on his face and eyeliner and lash extensions, dancing around with his pom-poms. You don't care. You'll still tune in and watch football. You will. But guess what you're going to see? Now, when those cameras are on, you're going to see that cheerleading squad. Not as much as you saw it before. You're going to see it a lot more than you saw it before. You're going to see it all the time. Every commercial break, they're going to show you that person on the sideline because they want to let the community out there, that's a very small percentage of the community of Americans, hey, we're representing you now. Buy our merch. Buy our products. Buy our tickets to the games. Until we Bud Light these people, this is what's going to happen. Time and time again. Now, we got Trump in office, so that helps. We get a little more credibility out there. But until you hurt their pockets, they're going to keep shoving it down your throat because they make money. And they like printing it. And that's what the NFL does. It's a big, big business. All the players are millionaires. All the owners are billionaires. You think they care about you if you're cringed a little bit seeing a guy dancing with pom-poms on the sidelines? Nah, you'll get over it. You know why? Because you're addicted. Well, that's it for today. Join me next time for a little chit-chat, some observation, and some good old-fashioned conversation. Thanks.